I'll never forget the day my friends and I decided to explore the abandoned asylum on the outskirts of town. It was a bright and sunny afternoon, but the looming decrepit building cast a long, eerie shadow that seemed to darken the very air around it. My name is Daniel, and I was only 16 at the time. My friends, Mark and Sarah, were the same age as me. We had all heard the rumors about the asylum, stories of patients gone mad, cruel treatments, and mysterious disappearances. But we were young and foolish, and the thrill of the unknown drew us closer to that forsaken place. As we approached the asylum, the atmosphere grew colder, and a shiver ran down my spine. The building itself was a massive, imposing structure, its windows boarded up and its walls covered in graffiti. It was as if the world had forgotten this place, and it had been left to rot. We made our way inside through a broken window, and the stench of decay and dampness assaulted our senses. Our flashlights cut through the darkness, revealing the shattered remnants of what had once been a hospital. Rusty hospital beds lay scattered about, and the walls were lined with moldy, torn wallpaper. We wandered deeper into the asylum, our footsteps echoing through the eerie silence. It was then that we began to hear faint whispers, indistinct voices that seemed to come from all around us. I exchanged nervous glances with Mark and Sarah, but none of us wanted to admit our fear. As we explored further, we stumbled upon a room that sent shivers down our spines. It was a small chamber with a single, rusted operating table in the center. Chains hung from the ceiling, and a flickering light bulb swayed eerily overhead. The walls were adorned with disturbing drawings, like the fevered scribblings of a madman. Sarah gasped and pointed to the operating table. "Look," she whispered. On the table there was a tattered, blood-stained straitjacket. It looked ancient, as if it had been there for decades. The sight of it filled us with dread, and we quickly left the room, vowing never to return. As we continued our exploration, the whispers grew louder and more distinct. It was as though the very walls of the asylum were speaking to us, their words filled with torment and despair. We couldn't make out what they were saying, but the sense of dread that washed over us was suffocating. Suddenly, Mark froze in his tracks, his flashlight trembling in his hand. He pointed it toward a dark corner of the hallway, and there, in the dim light, we saw a figure in tattered, blood-stained hospital attire. It was a patient, or at least it had once been. Its eyes were empty voids, and its mouth twisted into a grotesque, rictus grin. We screamed and turned to run, but the whispers seemed to converge on us, drowning out our own terrified cries. The figure began to shuffle toward us, its movements slow and unnatural. We sprinted through the decaying corridors, our hearts pounding in our chests, but the asylum seemed to stretch on endlessly, trapping us in its nightmarish grip. Finally, we burst through the front doors and stumbled into the blinding sunlight. We didn't stop running until we were far from that cursed place. We never spoke of what we saw or heard in the asylum, but the memory haunted our nightmares for years to come. To this day, I can't explain the horrors we witnessed that day, but I know one thing for certain. The abandoned asylum on the outskirts of town is not a place meant for the living. It is a place where the echoes of suffering and despair continue to reverberate through time. A place where the past refuses to rest in peace, and a place where the whispers of the forgotten will forever haunt those who dare to enter. Years passed, and my friends and I moved on with our lives, trying to forget the horrors of that fateful day. But the asylum never truly left us. Its presence lingered in the corners of our minds, a constant reminder of the darkness that dwelled within its walls. One evening, as I was going through some old photographs, I came across a picture from our ill-fated expedition. It was a group shot of Mark, Sarah, and me, taken just before we entered the asylum. I couldn't help but feel a pang of nostalgia and curiosity. What had become of that place? Had anyone else ventured inside since our escape? I decided to do some research. I spent hours scouring the internet for information about the abandoned asylum, and what I found sent chills down my spine. It turned out that the building had a long and sordid history. It had been a mental institution in the late 1800s, known for its brutal and experimental treatments. Patients had indeed gone mad, and many had never left the asylum, their fates shrouded in mystery. One particular story caught my attention. It was about a young girl named Emily, who had been a patient at the asylum in the early 1900s. According to the records, she had been subjected to a series of gruesome treatments, including electroshock therapy and lobotomy. She had died under mysterious circumstances, and her body had never been found. The more I delved into the history of the asylum, the more I became obsessed with it. I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something dark and malevolent still lurking within its decaying walls. I knew it was a foolish and dangerous idea, but I couldn't resist the urge to return. I contacted Mark and Sarah, and to my surprise, they agreed to come with me. It was as though we were drawn back to the asylum by an invisible force, unable to resist its sinister pull. We made plans to return to the place that had haunted our nightmares for so long. As we approached the asylum once again, the feeling of dread and foreboding intensified. The building loomed before us, a monolithic reminder of the horrors that had transpired within its walls. This time, we came prepared with better flashlights and a sense of grim determination. We entered through the same broken window we had used years ago, and the stench of decay and dampness assaulted our senses once more. The place seemed even more decrepit than before, as if time itself had accelerated its deterioration. We retraced our steps, making our way to the room with the operating table. The chains still hung from the ceiling, and the drawings on the walls remained as disturbing as ever. I couldn't help but wonder if Emily had been subjected to these horrors during her time at the asylum. We continued deeper into the building, the whispers growing louder and more insistent with each passing step. It was as though the very walls were trying to communicate with us, to share the unspeakable horrors they had witnessed over the years. As we reached the end of a long corridor, we came upon a door that had been sealed shut. It was covered in thick layers of dust and cobwebs, as if no one had touched it in decades. I felt a strange compulsion to open it, to uncover the secrets that lay beyond. With a collective sense of trepidation, we forced the door open, revealing a small, dimly lit room. In the center of the room stood an old wooden crib. It was adorned with faded, tattered baby blankets and stuffed animals that had long since lost their luster. As we approached the crib, the whispers around us grew deafening. They seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves, filling the room with an oppressive, suffocating presence. I felt as though I was being watched, as though unseen eyes were boring into my soul. Suddenly, the crib began to rock back and forth, its movement slow and deliberate. We gasped in horror, unable to comprehend the unnatural sight before us. It was as though an invisible hand was cradling an invisible child. A sense of overwhelming dread washed over us, and we knew that we had to leave, that we had to escape the asylum once and for all. We ran through the decaying corridors, the whispers following us like a malevolent specter. It felt as though the very building itself was alive, that it was trying to trap us within its nightmarish grasp. We burst through the front doors and stumbled into the blinding sunlight, our hearts pounding in our chests. We didn't stop running until we were far from that accursed place. We had returned to the asylum in search of answers, but all we had found was more terror and confusion. To this day, I can't explain the horrors we witnessed during our second visit to the abandoned asylum. The building itself seemed to be a malevolent entity, a place where the past and the present converged in a nightmarish dance. It was as though the asylum had absorbed the suffering and despair of all those who had suffered within its walls, and it would never let anyone forget. I often think about Emily, the young girl whose tragic story had drawn us back to the asylum. I wonder if her restless spirit still lingers within those decaying walls, trapped in an eternal nightmare of torment and suffering. The abandoned asylum on the outskirts of town remains a place of darkness and dread, a place where the past refuses to stay buried, and a place where the whispers of the forgotten will forever haunt those who dare to enter. I can only hope that no one else is drawn to its malevolent embrace, for the horrors that lie within are beyond imagination, and they are best left undisturbed. If you survived the frights and want more hair-raising tales, don't forget to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to our channel for your regular dose of fear. Stay tuned for more bone-chilling stories, and remember, the night is darkest just before dawn. Until next time, keep your wits about you, and may your dreams be free from the terrors we've shared today. Thanks for watching and stay spooky.